Hey YouTube folks, welcome to another video. And in today's video from the Learning Chess series, we're going to learn, folks, nothing more, nothing less than the hardest checkmate to pull off in chess, which is the bishop and knight checkmate. So the goal of this quick video lesson is to teach you the characteristics of each piece's movement to drive the opponent's king into a checkmate position and how to do it. So I'm going to pause at the most important positions so you can grasp the concepts. This checkmate, guys, for those who don't know, many strong players have drawn this position because they didn't know the concepts you're going to learn here today. So I can't let the subscribers of the Raphael Chess channel go without these important concepts. And now, without further delay, let's get straight to this very interesting checkmate. Well, guys, so how did this work here? I edited this position. It's here on chess.com, and I played it against the computer at level 10, as you can see here. And I delivered this checkmate. Now, I already have this position saved, right? I'm going to analyze it here with you, marking what each piece's move is to deliver this checkmate and what the concepts and functions of each one are, okay? First, a critical concept for us to learn. In this example, I have a dark squared bishop, okay? So, when you have the dark squared bishop, in order to checkmate your opponent, you need to drive them to one of the corners of the board that has dark squares, right? So, I can't checkmate on the edges with white squares, okay? It's not possible. So, what are these two squares called here? These corner squares that have the color of my bishop are the hot corner, which is the corner where I can deliver checkmate. And the white squares, where I can't deliver checkmate, are the cold corners. The strategy for white here will be to bring the opposing king to one of the hot corner squares. And the strategy for black to avoid checkmate will be to bring the king to one of the cold corner squares. So the first mission here will be to bring the king to one of the cold corner squares. But Raphael, in the cold corner, I can't deliver checkmate. No problem, because as soon as you reach the cold corner square, there will be a series of moves so we can maneuver the king to the hot corner square. So don't worry. Let's see how we get the king to the cold corner first. Well, the first thing is to create opposition with the king. So notice that the computer from chess.com played king to e7 here. And I created opposition with the kings to block these squares here, to block the black king, so I keep making opposition and blocking some squares. Every time he retreats, he blocks the square. And now notice that he's going to try to take the king to the cold corner square. That's going to be one of black's strategies here. Well, I played bishop to f5, which controls this diagonal so the king can't escape through here. My king is already blocking some squares, so we always have to keep blocking these little squares. To take him to the corner, notice now that the king is trying to escape through c6, so what I have to do is block that as well. So I played the knight to block. Notice that I blocked the 3 squares in front of the king. The king went back. I made a king opposition. He could have come here, but it wouldn't be so productive because he would be going toward the hot corner square. That's never good for black in this case here, so he took the king to the cold corner square, which makes much more sense. I made a king opposition. He went more toward the corner because he wants to stay right there in the corner. And now I'm bringing my pieces to the key positions that you'll learn now. He played here, king c8, I played knight. Knight to c7, the knight already blocks this square. Notice that his king can always go back and forth here on b8 and c8, right? At this moment, he played king b8, and now I need to block this square because notice that the knight is already blocking this one. The knight is already blocking the a8 square. Now I need to block the b8 square so the king can't keep going back and forth here on c8 and b8. So I gave a little waiting move with the bishop here, and after king c8, I played bishop a7, blocking this escape square for the king. And here, guys, this is the first standard position. It's the most important position that you need to memorize this setup of the pieces, okay? The knight in front of the two kings and the bishop blocking the square where the king can return to the cold corner. So notice that here I blocked two squares. I blocked the squares d8 and b8. So the black king can only come here now, right? And what's the big secret here, guys? There's a memorization technique, which is this. The knight from the team that's trying to checkmate makes a W-shaped movement. So, until the checkmate is applied, the knight will go through these squares. Notice that it forms the letter W. Perfect. So this is the first tip. The knight zigzags here. It's going to make this movement. And what movement will the black king make? Well, we're going to try to make the black king move like this until it reaches the hot corner square so we can deliver checkmate. Eventually, when the king gets to these squares here, he manages to slip away a little, but we end up making him go back to the last rank and then finally move to the hot corner square. So notice that there's a bit of tension, but it's very simple to understand and you'll really get the move. So to rephrase, the black king is going to make this move, basically, and the white knight is going to make the W move. And the white king, what move is he going to make until the checkmate is achieved, Raphael? The white king is going to make this move, always following the knight, right? And Raphael, what is the bishop's role in all of this? The bishop has three functions, okay, guys? First, to block escape squares for the opposing king. You'll see that whenever the opposing king has an escape square, it's going to be a black square, right? Look how interesting that is. And what do we have here? The black squared bishop, right? So the bishop is going to block these escape squares. The second important function of the bishop is to waste time, that is, to make a move where I don't change the position so that the opponent's king goes to the squares I need. So I waste time, I make a pointless move just to move the opponent's king to where I need him to go, right? And the third function, one of the most important of the bishop, is to deliver checkmate. So it's the bishop who will deliver checkmate when the black king is on the black squares in the corner of the board, right? So now I'm going to put all the moves of each piece here and you'll understand. The black king is going to make this move, basically, okay? The white king is going to make this move basically, always following the knight's movement, which forms the letter W passing through these squares here. And the bishop will have the role of protecting the escape squares, wasting time, and delivering the checkmate. So in this position, the standard one, which we will always have to get out of, okay? So we should always reach this position. Here, black kept playing, continuing with the king lying down. Well, what's the move now? Now the move, we already know what each piece's move is, right? It's going to be the knight's move. So the knight is going to block this escape square. This one is already blocked in front of the king, and this one too. Perfect? So black played king to e8 here, trying to escape through here, which was that first thing I mentioned, right? Sometimes the king will wander around here a bit crazily, but it's all fine. So the black king is trying to escape through the white squares. Now the knight has already made its first move. Now we should make sure the king always moves together with the knight. So the king's move is this one, perfect? Like I said before, now the move is king to e6. So we've already made the first move with the knight and the first move with the king. The knight's move was this one, and the king's move was this one. Now black played king to f7 here, right? Trying to escape through the white squares. Notice that these two white squares will be blocked when I make the knight's second move, which is this one. So the knight had to make this move and then this one, right? So now white plays knight to e7, blocking these two squares. Black, in this position, played king to g7, trying to escape through a black square here in the corner. So notice that the black king can't escape through these squares here. There's a little blockade here, almost like a small wall, but he can escape through the black squares. And remember what I said earlier? Whenever the king tries to escape, you'll notice it's always to a square of the same color as the bishop you have. So to keep the king from escaping through these squares here, we're going to protect the escape squares. How do I protect these two squares? This one and this one. By playing the bishop on this diagonal, it controls the escape squares, creating a wall in front of the king. The bishop controls one square, the knight controls two, and the king controls the remaining two. Perfect. And the bishop also controls this one here. So here we have a wall. In other words, the black king can't get out of this corner here. These are the squares the black king has available. He's really locked in. Here, black played king to f6. And now notice that the wall is still formed. In other words, the black king is locked in. There's no move here. For example, I can't move the king here, which is one of the white king's moves. I can't move the knight here because otherwise the black king will capture this knight. Right? So I don't have any useful moves from the movement patterns of the knight and the king. What do I need to do here? The second function of the bishop is to give a tempo. I need to pass a move so that the black king goes to the squares I need, right? So here bishop to d2 was played, which is simply a waiting move, keeping the blockade on the necessary squares. Here black played king to f07. And now the bishop will do its job number one, which is to block escape squares. So the little wall here remains closed, but I can make this wall even smaller by controlling this square here, which is a dark square. So in this position, bishop to 5 was played, and now the wall looks like this. I limited one more square for the black king. In this position, black played king to e8 right, trying to escape through here to run away. And now I made another standard move. What were the standard moves? The knight's move was this one. Oops, this one. And the king's move was always to follow the knight. So now another king move was made. But Raphael, is the black king going to escape through here now? No, he won't because these squares are black. As I said, the bishop's main function is to block the escape squares. Black tried to escape. The knight is blocking this square. My king is blocking this one. And for me to close the barrier so the black king doesn't escape, I need to block this square here, which is c7. And I have the black bishop, right? So I just need to block this diagonal, and that's what I did here. I played bishop to f4, and now the little wall is set up again so the king can't escape. Black played the only move here, right? King to e8, and now I need to keep pushing the king toward the hot corner, which is what's happening. Notice that the king left this square and is already here, heading toward the hot corner. Now, the king has two options to wander around here, which are e8 and d8, but d8 is a dark square. How do I block it? With the bishop, so I played bishop to c7 here, blocking these two squares. The knight is already blocking this one, my king is blocking d7, and now I've blocked d8, forcing the black king toward the hot corner. Black played king to f8 here, and now I keep following the special movement of each piece, knight and king. I made another knight move, so the knight has already made these moves here and reached this square. The last knight move will be this one. What did black do? Notice that these two squares are blocked. Actually, all three squares in front of the king, right? So the black king went to e8, and now I made another knight move. So the knight has already completed its course. Notice that everything is going well. It went through all the necessary squares. This check makes the king go back to f8 because he can't go to d8 since the bishop is controlling it. So the king went to f8, and what is the king's role? Always move together with the knight, so another little king moved to the side. Now the black king is blocked. Notice that I'm closing off the escape squares here. My king is defending the knight. there's a little wall. The black king now only has 3 squares available. It's working, guys. Here, king e8 was played. So now the black king is already on g8. I make the last king move here, which will also block some escape squares, right? So I play king 6. So here, guys, after king 6, notice that my king left c6, made all the moves following the c8, and kept moving sideways until this square. Now I need to take him to the last square, and the bishop has been a piece so far for supporting escape squares and also for passing the move. Now black played king 8, and here in this position, the bishop made another block of squares. Bishop d6 was played here, which controls this dark square so that the black king can't go back and try to escape through it. So notice, guys, now this is the little wall. All the squares are controlled by white, and black only has these 2 squares here, h8 and g8. So here, black played king g8, which was the only move. And now we need to make the finishing moves. These are no longer those standard moves we learned. Now I just need to apply the checkmate with the rooks. This one is easy to see, okay? Watch, knight to f5 was played here because now the knight is going to h6 to block this square. So the king gets trapped here on h8. So after knight to f5, the king is still blocked, right? Here, king to h8 was played, but be careful, guys. You can't play now. Knight to h6, because knight to h6 covers the only escape square that the black king has. And it wouldn't be check, so I would be drawing this game by stalemating the opponent's king. So, what do I need? I can't play knight to h6. I need to waste a move here. I need to make the king move to a square where I can check with the knight. Which piece can waste a move? That's right, it's the bishop. So we make any bishop move here, keeping it controlling this diagonal. Black only has 1 move, king to the e8, and now knight to h6, check. The black king is blocked by these squares, so now I'm giving a check on g8. He's forced to move to the dark square, and now the black king is completely blocked and can only stay on d8, which is a dark square. And what do I have? The dark squared bishop. What do I need to do? I just need to attack the square where the king is, since he's already completely trapped. And this is checkmate with tomatoes, folks. Well, that's the theory for delivering checkmate with bishop and knight, all right? Here's a very important tip, everyone. Now you're learning the concepts, meaning the role of each piece to deliver this checkmate. The movement of each one, okay? This happens a lot. It's a pattern, right? It's a slightly longer pattern, but it's still a pattern. The tip is this. For you to really grasp this knowledge, you should set up boards either on Lichess or on chess.com. Set up the position where you have a bishop and a knight against a king and put the computer on the strongest level and practice this checkmate several times, okay, guys? Because that way you'll really solidify this knowledge and learn it, and you'll never again draw one game like this in your matches, right? Well, guys, if you found this video interesting and it helped you in any way, leave a like. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe down below. It's quick and easy. See you in the next videos, guys. Thanks.